Well, hello, friends, and Merry Christmas in June. Okay, so it's not Christmas time, but today almost feels like Christmas in June because today we get an amazing gift. Our first clutch of the season has pipped. I'm so excited. Overnight, the first baby cut and stuck its little nose, so cute, out of the egg, and I found this morning. Very excited. Today is actually the due date, so right on time. And man, I'm excited. I've been out and I just got back from my son's basketball game, and I just have to take a little moment here to go ahead and inspect, see if any others have pipped, and then we're going to go ahead and cut the eggs so that we can make sure they all can get out safely. We'll check to make sure that there's no issues like a wrapped umbilical cord or anything like that that we can see. And of course, the bonus for all that is we get to get a first look at the babies and what we hatched. Sorry, I'll be swatting at some gnats while we're going through here because they're hot and heavy here in June in the South where I live. But anyway, very excited. As a reminder, this clutch, I actually have to remind myself, I think this was my banana leopard pied het VPI exanthic to our VPI exanthic possible het pied. She did not prove het pied last year with 6 eggs, so this is another chance. Again, 6 eggs. If she doesn't show or prove het pied this year, then I'm going to be under the conclusion that she just is not het pied, and we missed on that, which is okay, although we hoped for it. It'll be all right. I didn't originally buy her with the intention of thinking she was het pied. It was just kind of a bonus. So anyway, we're going to check it out and see. Can't wait to share them with you. While we're going, be sure you comment. Tell me what you think. Tell me which ones you like. And any questions, comments you have, throw them at me while we're cutting. I'll probably address some of the common questions I get. And who knows what else I might ramble on about while we're doing it. But anyway, y'all aren't here to hear me. You're here to see some cute babies. So let's get on with the very first clutch cutting of 2025. So excited. Let's see what we got. All right, so here we go. I'll talk a little bit about my setup here. I'm going to turn the eggs so you can see their numbers. And it looks like just the one is pipped, but how appropriate that it was egg number 1 that pipped first. I've got my handy dandy, newly, freshly sanitized egg cutting scissors, rubber glove because I'm going to make a mess, some paper towels. And over here off to the side, I have a second container, which I'm realizing I forgot to wet down the substrate, which I'm going to do here in a minute. But what I'm going to do is I cut these. I'm going to transfer them over to the other container because this vermiculite that I use as a hatching medium is very fine and it really sticks to everything. I got a coarser grade this year, but not the coarsest. I had to go with what they had at my local store. So we're going to cut the eggs, take a look, make sure they're okay, and then we'll transfer them to the other. And of course, I'll show them to you here at the end. Hang on with me just a second. All right, so now that's ready. Let's get going with the egg cutting, starting at number 1. Now, I know that this one's not a banana already because it had its head out earlier. It also did not look pied, so I'm sure it's not, but I think it's a leopard. We're going to see here in just a second, though. We get it opened up for you. Let me go ahead and apologize in advance if I'm looking too closely and I get it off the camera. It's hard for me to always see where I am, so I'll try my best. But if I do get you off the camera, I do apologize ahead of time. All right, let's take a look at baby number 1. I do not believe that's a leopard. That looks, oh, sorry, a little, couldn't see from the bubbles and I caught its nose, but I did feel the egg tooth. So that looks like a wild type to me. Does not look exanthic. Just looks like a wild type. We'll always be curious to see a little more once they crawl out. Sometimes they hide things from you. All right, let's move on to number 2. All right. Feel them moving around in there. These eggs are very plump still. Some of this fluid will leak out. That's fine. They are fully mature, ready to hatch. So this loss of fluid is not dangerous to them in any way, shape, or form. And we'll leave them in the egg for a day or two to let them absorb as much as they can and crawl out on their own time. Again here, we've got some, I wouldn't say pattern distortion, but a little bit of distortion here. So I think what we probably have here is a leopard. I'll get a little messy, but let me pull this baby back out, and you can see them side by side. You see the difference in that pattern? These alien heads, saddles here, and I think we might get an appearance from the snoot. And you can see how this one is really broken up. It's a much more reduced pattern, which would be more typical of a leopard. So I think number one's a wild type. This is probably a leopard. Again, does not look exanthic, which is unfortunate. Hopefully we'll get some exanthics out of this. We didn't get any last year that I could tell, which was a little disappointing. And I don't know if they only were in the bananas and I couldn't tell, or something worse, like I was sold a sire that isn't actually het for exanthic. That would be very unfortunate. Hopefully we'll get some color on this one, get some banana in here, and I think we did. As I say that, I am getting a glimpse, and I think we got our first banana. So while I'm cutting this, let me address a question that gets asked every single year. I'll probably be asked half a dozen times on different videos, and that is, why do you cut your eggs rather than just let them hatch? All right, and this is an awesome, awesome baby. Look at this. This is a banana leopard for sure, which is going to look amazing when he crawls out. Most likely he, could be she, but most likely a he, based on the banana sex link in the genetics. Could it be exanthic? It might be. I don't know how I would tell, to be honest, in the egg. So we're going to set him over here, and I'll continue. So I always get asked why I cut eggs instead of letting nature take its course. And here's the bottom line. So the way that things should work is just like egg number one, right? They get to day 60, which incubators are different. I know my incubator, by day 60, usually they are pipping if they haven't a day or two earlier than that. So I know they're full term. They've been full term for a little bit before the due date. But during the later stages of incubation, they will develop what is called an egg tooth, which you heard me refer to it on that first baby because I felt it when I was trying to clear some of the muck to see if we could get a little bit better shot. They'll develop that egg tooth, which allows them to make slits in the egg when they're ready to come out. Here we very clearly have another banana. It's kind of light colored, but that can happen often with bananas when they're first hatched. I'm hopeful that the lightening will continue and actually get enhanced, because maybe this is an exanthic banana. But again, I can't really tell. Does not appear to be leopard. Appears to be a banana. Obviously, well, seems pretty obvious there's no pied in there. So again, four no pieds. I'm thinking mom is not actually het pied. But so they developed this egg tooth to get back. Sorry, I'm kind of all over the place. They developed the egg tooth to cut their way out. Now, it is not unheard of sometimes that babies will not actually develop that egg tooth, in which case, if they don't develop the egg tooth, they cannot cut their way out of the egg. And if left in for too long, they can actually drown inside the egg and pass away. So that's one risk with waiting for them and waiting for nature to take its course. Another banana. Again, can't really speculate. Does not appear leopard. Looks like a banana. Oh, they're always so beautiful. So many great patterns and colors. But we'll see after it hatches out what really is going on there. All right. So we've addressed no egg tooth. The other thing is, if you've watched our channel, you've seen it. If you watched other channels, you may have seen it. Sometimes during incubation, the babies move around and they can get the umbilical cord wrapped around their bodies. When they do that, they can cut off blood supply, oxygen, and it may even be fatal. So last year I had two. I caught them both on cutting. One baby was farther along in it and ultimately seemed to do okay, but would never eat and ultimately passed away. And thankfully, the second one I caught a little earlier it was definitely stronger coming out of the egg, and it survived, thrived, and did very well. So there are other things that can happen too, but because of those things, I now cut all my eggs. If they get full term and they haven't pipped, or when they start to pip, I'll give them a little bit longer to see if any others are going to come along, and then I will cut them. Now, let's take a look at this last baby and see what we've got here. Another banana leopard, and wow, it looks awesome. We got a little bit. I'm going to see if I can clear this bubble away and see if we can get it without the glare. You can see the little head right there. See his little noggin? And he's got like this little kind of egg circle shape on its head, which leopard does a lot. But what's really giving me leopard vibes is this side. It's a darker color. The pattern is busier, so I'm pretty sure that's another leopard. Let me rearrange these a little bit in our bin, and we'll show you all of them. But all seem to be very responsive. All seem to be reacting to my touch, which is great, which means hopefully we've got a whole clutch here of healthy, happy babies. What we'll do now is we'll put them back in the incubator, and they will continue cooking for a couple more days. Not literally, obviously. And they'll continue to absorb the remaining fluid in their eggs, and then they will crawl out when they're ready. And once they crawl out, we'll get them all into another tub. So what I've done here is we want to keep it really moist while they're still in the egg. So this is wet down. It's a product called Lignocell that I use as a substrate for my snakes. And I'm going to try it out with this clutch to see. Normally I'll put down paper towels, really, really wet paper towels. But hold on, I'm going to turn this around. Sorry, I know that they're more fun to look at, but it felt awkward talking without looking at you guys, or you looking at me. I don't know, that sounds weird, but you know what I'm saying. I forget what I was saying. Basically, when I use paper towels, it's better in the sense that it stays cleaner. The vermiculite doesn't get all over the babies, so that it's just stuck, and it makes it a really thorough washing that they don't enjoy. The Lignocell should not do that, but it should be better at absorbing odor. Paper towels do not absorb odor well at all, and when you have egg fluid that's leaked out and has gotten out, and they're crawling around and soaking it, and maybe going to the bathroom for the first time when they get out of the egg, all that kind of soaks in the paper towels, and it just stinks. So this is going to be an effort with the Lignocell to see if we can do that without the odor. And hopefully this will give us a chance to test it. I mean, this will be the first one. I've got about 3.5 to 4 weeks before the next clutch is due. So this will be a good trial run, and I'll have the results before the next clutch to decide whether I want to keep that up. The downside to using the Lignocell is, of course, it is more expensive than paper towels, but we're going to try it and see and decide from there. So anyway, there you go. We got 6 babies. They all look happy. We did pretty good on the banana odds with 4 bananas out of 6 babies. Does not appear that we have any pieds. Theoretically, we could have some really super low white pieds, which sometimes happens with leopard also, but I don't think that's the case. I think no pieds. I don't think she is actually het for pied, and that's just okay. The thing that's a little more concerning, I can't tell either if we've got any, no, my phone's ringing. I can't tell if we got any exanthics, which last year I don't think we hit any either, which would be pretty odd to have a visual exanthic to a het exanthic and also to strike out 2 years in a row, which makes me think either the banana is hiding it really well, because the 2 non-bananas definitely are not exanthic. It could blend in the banana a lot easier and be harder to determine, but I just don't know. And I don't think I had any last year. None of these look obvious to me. So I'm going to try and be patient, wait for them to shed out, and see what I can decide there. And who knows, if I think any look like it, I might even send a shed test just to confirm. But my concern is that perhaps my male is not, in fact, het VPI also, which would be a drag. But I do know that all these offspring will be het for VPI exanthic and het for pied, because dad was a visual pied, mom was visual exanthic. So they'll all be exanthic pied makers. So Anyway, great babies. Looks awesome. I'm excited about those leopards, especially because leopard just throws such an awesome pattern in with the coloration of bananas. So stay tuned. There definitely will be a follow-up video to update you on this clutch. And if you're still watching, I'd like to ask you a question. Just tell me what you prefer. Would you rather I do a video that is just an update of the babies, or would you like me to come in and kind of do a from start to finish, from eggs being laid, here's where we're opening the eggs up, to, all right, my light timer just went out, as you can tell. So we don't have a blooper reel, but if so, that would be on it, wouldn't it? All right, so it's a little dimmer, but I actually have to use my phone to turn those lights back on, and I'm filming on it right now. Anyway, what was I saying? We'll really enjoy being able to see those leopards and compare them once they're all out. And oh, I remember, man, I'm crazy. What I want to know from you is, would you rather have just an update video, or would you rather me come in with the update and kind of add it all together so you get eggs being laid, eggs hatching or being cut, and then the update all in one longer video? It seems like that's what you guys have asked for in the past, but I'm curious. Let me know what you prefer. Hopefully you got to stay around for my technical malfunction. Not really sure why it's going. I guess it is that time. I thought it was a little early, but it's later than I thought. Anyway, I'll stop rambling. I love you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. Please comment below. I love reading your comments and responding to them, and I appreciate you guys so much. I hope you have a wonderful day. And hey, what's up, everybody? I thought I was going to end that video the other day, but it has been 2 days and all the babies are out of the eggs, so I thought, why not go ahead and share them with you as I pull them out and we get to take a look at them outside the egg for the first time and see a little bit better what those patterns and colors look like. Then we'll get them washed up in the sink. We'll put them into their holding tub and wait for them to have their first shed. I put them in one tub together, lined with very, very wet moist paper towels to keep high humidity. Once they have their first shed, we'll pull them out, sex them, ID them, and get them into their own individual tubs in the rack system so that we can get them started. I do wait 10 to 14 days before I offer them their first meal to get them nice and hungry. During that time, they will survive off of the nutrients that they absorbed from the egg these last few days. So anyway, let's go ahead and get them out, and let's take a look at what they're like outside the egg. All right, so test one using Lignocell here. We'll see what the odor factor is like. Actually, it's not that bad. So definitely better than using the paper towels from a odor absorption standpoint. And of course, everything's nice and moist still, so they're doing well. Can I snag this out from under you? And they must be piled on top of another one. But moving the eggs usually is kind of stinky, so definitely a better option here as far as the smell. So let's take a look. You can see the whole clutch there. We will look first at, well, this is the second egg we cut. And what we could see was this, I believe, was this, this little section right here that looked like the pattern was more broken up. But now that he's out, or she, and we can look at him, I'm not sure, well, I'm pretty sure there is no leopard going on there, which we thought maybe in the egg there was some leopard. I think it's just a really bright wild type. Get some of that. Got a little bit of the umbilicus still stuck there, but again, we'll keep them on very moist paper towels and that'll come off in the next day or two. But fully absorbed his yolk. Here's the first one we cut. Again, another wild type. Not quite as bright colored, but you can see it has some of these broken up alien heads too. So that's why when they're in the egg, you can guess, but sometimes you just got to wait and see what comes out. So two wild types, both will be double het for pied and VPI exanthic. But no leopards. Let's see. Banana number one. Now, these all look pretty similar tones. I have no idea how to tell if it's a banana exanthic. I really don't. And so I was hoping that as some of them came out, there'd be more of a contrast in colors that I could tell. So definitely a banana double het. Don't think it's VPI. But again, we'll have to see what it looks like when it crawls out. But just a little nanner. Should be a boy. But again, we'll sex them once they come out. Let go of your brother's head. All right, banana number 2. Really light head on this one. But that happens a lot of times when they're fresh. So again, love the blues. Man, I'm crazy. Love the oranges that come through when they're babies, but they'll look so much better once they've had their first shed. Now, one of these I thought for sure was a leopard, but now that they're out, this one I was thinking was leopard. I think what we could see was right here, if I can get it on the camera, and it kind of looked more leopard-like inside the egg. But now that he's outside the egg, I don't think there's any leopard in that animal. I think it's just a good looking, again, banana double het. Possible visual exanthic, because I don't know what I'm looking for. This one, this is a banana leopard. And I'll tell you a few key indicators. You probably don't even have to, I probably don't have to tell you that. But I mentioned this, I think, on the cutting. When you look at the head, see if we can compare it to one of his brothers there. Look at the difference in the head. Come on. Sorry, trying to be my own cameraman makes this difficult. But you can see there's like this, almost this round head stamp with that dot in the middle. A lot of times the leopard will have like this kind of circular pattern on the head stamp. But you can also see the purples here are lighter and richer. And the pattern is just a lot busier, more spotty, banded. Definitely can tell a pattern difference between these two, can't you? So one leopard banana, it looks like. This one definitely actually does have some differences from the other two. It's just not giving me strong leopard vibes. So I don't think it's leopard. Maybe what would be great is if this was a banana and these were exanthic bananas. But we'll have to get a little further in. Wait till they shed and take it from there. But so for now, I'm going to get them cleaned up and into their other tub, and then we'll take one last look at them once they're all cleaned up before we end the video. All right, folks, and here you have it, the finished product. Several of them doing a great demonstration of why these have become known as ball pythons, balling up and protecting their heads. But they'll come out of their shell a little bit, so to speak. I guess they're already out. But in this light, cleaned up, you can really see the coloration difference between these two and these two. And so I'm thinking, I'll have to do a little more research, but because exanthic is a lightning gene, these two may be visual exanthics, and these two may not be. This one's definitely leopard. Don't think that one is, but it has a much more similar coloration to these two. But look at him sticking his tongue out. Did y'all see that? He was flicking it real slow. But anyway, this will be very interesting to see once they all shed out and we kind of compare with fresh skin on. All right, so wasn't that cool? Beautiful looking babies. They all look healthy. I'm going to go ahead and get a weight on them too, just to kind of give me a baseline for where they are. But they all look great. And hopefully in about 10 days or so, we should have first sheds complete, and we can look at them with their fresh skin on. We'll be able to tell a little bit better. Anyway, thank you so much for joining me. I hope you enjoyed the video. Please feel free to share any comments or ask any questions. And as always, let me remind you to share the love of reptiles with anybody you can. And I'll see you guys next time.